Alright, hello everyone. So today I just played the early access preview event because I am an EA partner, and yeah, I was able to play the new season, season 26, and to be honest, I do feel like this is actually one of the game-changing seasons, like how we've had previously the season 16 one, the first season that we didn't get a new legend, but instead we got a class rework system. I think we all remembered that. Probably one of the best reworks to anything in the game in a while. Then we had the new perk system added alongside the Evo system rework in Season 20, and I would say this is the next one in that line that just completely revamps the game. And that basically we have these amp abilities, first of all, that obviously replace the helmets. It goes kind of along the same line as my utilities concept that I did about a year ago, where it was rather than a survival item that you have to use and place down something to get a thing you can interact with. It would be like little abilities that just go for your character, additional to the ones that you have normally, and that's exactly what's came to the game. Alongside these new amp abilities, there's obviously new things called elite weapons, which for this season is the 𝗬𝗏. It is a burst energy pistol, and to be honest, it fucking slaps. It's really good, and I really hope whenever they do add these elite weapons, hopefully every season, they are very, very OP, because it will make the meta feel very fresh. As the weapons, I would say, decide the meta more than anything, because you can play different characters, but it's at the end of the day the weapon that actually gets you the kills. We also have hop-up integration as well, which is another one of my concepts that I said a while ago when we actually had Gold Shield. Basically, whenever Season 20 came out, I made a concept that basically continued that skill tree on. So when you pick your level 2 perks and your level 3 perks, I added a level 4 perk thing, but instead of being a character perk, it will be a hop-up one instead. So you can actually choose between two different hop-ups to then get for your weapon. So rather than finding hop-ups on the ground, you could get the level 4, like how we used to, the red shield, and then choose a hop-up for your weapons. So for between your two weapons that you have, so let's say like a Vault and a Mastiff, you would choose which weapon you would want to get the legendary hop-up for out of them two weapons. Whereas now, they've kind of went a different way with it, where you just have to do damage with the weapon. So it's actually separate to this system. It's a separate progression-based tracking thing in the game from the normal Evo system. So it's a separate thing, the hop-up thing. But there's also an item on the ground now for boosting the hop-up progress as well. So you can actually get that to help with getting the hop-up for you. So they've kind of went the same, like a similar like kind of concept, I guess, to what I said. Obviously, the whole like integrating the hop ups to the weapons kind of thing, but they went a different way about it. But this is really interesting though. There's a lot of things that I've been saying that really need to come to the game for a lot of different reasons, and they're all coming in this season. And maybe I'm just like superstitious and everything, that like maybe they're all looking at my videos and they see the things that I'm concepting about, because I feel like I do kind of see where the developers are coming from, the plans that they have, and where the game's going, and so I make my concepts based around that. And it's interesting that there's so many of my concepts that are now making it into the game fully, and I couldn't be more happier, because this is what I've wanted in the game. It's the things that I think would make the game easier for lower skill players, but also more fun for casuals, and add a little bit more of a skill ceiling for the high level players, especially with the amp abilities. You have to decide which one is better for my character, which is something I definitely want to do a video on. Is like what amp abilities work best with certain characters. Like characters that have longer cooldowns, you want to go for the reduced cooldown amp ability, but then for characters that are potentially more supportive, you kind of want to make sure that you give yourself the shield ones, so that you can give all of the other shields you find to your teammates. And then you also have other ones like the extra HP, which could probably very well go on Fortify characters and Revenant, for example. Characters that have a lot of HP, and Rampart as well. There's another one as well. Yeah, like the infinite ammo one, that would mostly go with like what weapons you actually do have. If you run a loadout like me, where I run bow check shotgun, like the Mozam, you probably don't want to use this one because you're not really using that much space for ammo anyway. So you really have to think about what amp abilities are best for your gameplay. They're all going to benefit you in some way, but some will benefit you more, and that's where the skill ceiling comes in, because you have to know what will benefit you more based on your legend, based on your weapon loadout and everything, and even where you are on the map as well. If you're in a position where like you've got high ground, you might want to have the battery one, because you can sit there, just keep healing, and just shoot at people, you know? But if you're not at that high ground, you kind of want to get the like cooldown for your abilities so that you can actually use your movement abilities if you use the movement character more often, so you can get to that good position. So it really depends on a lot of factors, and that's why these amp abilities are so good. And even for casuals as well, it makes the whole game more fun because you just simply pick them up and you've got an improvement, and there's a lot of customization around it. Way better than the helmet system. Obviously, the helmet system didn't make sense because you would think, oh, a helmet that will protect us from headshot damage, which it used to, but now it doesn't. So now they've removed them, and it makes more sense that we have an actual item type for them now. And plus, as well, removing things like the helmets, did that actually do much for the game? No, not really. Same, I would argue, for the knockdown shields. I've made a video in the past, like I think it was earlier today, about the knockdown shields, just removing them completely, because they could just be integrated into the normal shield, like when you get level 1, level 2, level 3, just having an upgraded knockdown shield to what level you are. So like all these little things that I'm making to clear the loot pool up just makes it so that like casual players, newer players as well, don't have to learn as much about the game, and they can just get stuck right in. They just go, oh, this is a shield, right? Okay, this is a backpack, this is my inventory space, okay, cool. And these are these amp abilities. And here's all the weapons, here's all the legends, here's some grenades and evil things and everything. So there's less things to learn about, and that's what will make the game easier to get into for casual players. And that's a big focus for me. So yeah, I know that was a big rant right there, but I do see the way that the developers are going, and it's aligning with what I think as well. As well, hop-up integration as well. I love it, because not only now do we have ways to buff and nerf legends really easily with obviously the perk system, but now we have the same thing for the weapon system, because now we have a progression system for the weapons. So we can actually make it so the vault, for example, is just very weak off drop if we want to, but then you can have a hop up that makes it incredibly powerful if you get the hop up for late game. So we actually have a way to buff and nerf weapons dynamically, like how we have with legends, just the same. And this is exactly what I was talking about in my concept video for the hop-up system, progression system for weapons. And that is what we have in the game now. And I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. And I cannot wait for you guys to get your hands on it, to try it out next season tomorrow. Of course, if you guys did see the live stream event that I did put on, it is a little bit laggy because, of course, my laptop is not the best, and we only can stream on PC. If I did have access to the streaming thing on Xbox, that'd be great, but of course we don't have that yet. Hopefully they do come out with it in the future. But the last thing that really caught my attention as well is obviously the ranked aura exclusive like kind of item thing. I did make a concept before about like an exclusive reward for ranked called an aura effect. This wasn't actually originally for ranked, it was for legend mastery as like an exclusive reward, but that was the whole focal point, is that it's an exclusive reward that you can't get through buying or purchasing things. You need to have exclusive rewards for things like ranked and progression systems, because then at least there's something to grind towards that you can show off to other people without kind of feeling a little bit shat on because other people have got, say, skydive trails, because they've purchased it. It makes it a little bit shit. And so these aura effects, I'm assuming, are the new step forward, and it only displays your rank currently. So whatever rank you currently are, it displays that, which I think is honestly cooler than just having it as like, oh, this is the rank I got 3 seasons ago type of thing. Because that's what we have currently for rank rewards. It's actually cooler that it actually displays what rank you are right now. Because then it kind of motivates you a little bit more every game when you're skydiving through and you're seeing, like, say, the platinum rank. Oh, right, okay, well, I really want to get a diamond, so let's try and change that, you know? Just gives you that little bit extra boost of motivation. Also, it makes it easier to see what your teammates are as well, without having to go through all the pages to try and figure out what, rank your teammates are. And of course, that's another one of the ideas that I did have. But overall, though, if we're talking about actual gameplay kind of features and stuff like that in this game, apart from all this stuff that I've just kind of covered, and which I would consider this to be a kind of game-changing season, like with Season 16 and Season 20, apart from that stuff that I've mentioned, that is going to completely change the loot pool and everything of that sort. We have some good changes to 𝗏𝗏𝗁, some changes to 𝗏𝗏𝗁. Now, upon actually playing it, I kind of found that 𝗏𝗏𝗁 wasn't as good as I initially thought. She's gonna be more useful, I feel, in ALGS and high level ranked than, say, pubs. I think people are still gonna probably rock like the Ashes and the Revenants for just getting in people's faces. But 𝗏𝗏𝗁 will probably still see an increase, I would say, in low level, in like pub games and low level ranked. But she won't be a necessity for the team, I would say. I would say definitely for the high level rank, she'll definitely be useful. But the main thing is that they nerfed the ultimate by 10 damage. So it does 30 damage now, and then the perk that you have to upgrade it gives it the extra 10 damage. So it makes it go back to where it was, but now the ultimate with that perk can destroy things like abilities and stuff. So it kind of buffs the ultimate, but also nerfs at the same time, if you talk about damage. So there are some things that make us go, wow, okay, this is a really good 𝗏𝗏𝗁 buff. And it seems very artificial in a way, but at the same sentence, though, they've nerfed her in ways as well. So it seems more like a rework. Now, I noticed that 𝗙IA actually got a buff as well, where there was a slight cooldown reduction. I believe his ultimate also got a little bit bigger as well, and that's what I like to see, little changes, even though these might have slipped into the preview event early, maybe, but this is the kind of thing I like to see. Rather than just being 𝗏𝗏𝗁 and 𝗏𝗏𝗁 that get their little buffs and stuff that just completely revolutionize the characters, I like to see little changes like what they're doing to 𝗙IA right now as well, just to kind of show, like, here guys, here's like a little taster of like some changes we're doing to 𝗙IA. We'll release the rest a little bit later, so that it can slowly start integrating 𝗙IA into some more games. Whilst obviously 𝗏𝗏𝗁 and 𝗏𝗏𝗁 probably dominate now. But then eventually they're going to add the rest of the changes for 𝗙IA, and now we'll see 𝗙IA start to dominate. I like to see that rather than just like, oh yeah, we're just going to drop everything for 𝗏𝗏𝗁 right now and everything for 𝗏𝗏𝗁, just so that now you have to learn these characters now. Enjoy, because that's what kind of makes the game a little bit more artificial, in the fact that we no longer decide the meta. It's what the developers decide. We want to buff 𝗏𝗏𝗁, we want to buff 𝗏𝗏𝗁. That's who we're going to put ahead now. And that's what kind of gets me a little bit worried for the future of like meta changes. I think they're doing a really good job because they're doing it very consistently. That's a very good positive. Having more consistent updates for the meta is really good. But having it be very artificial, I disagree with. That's the one thing. So if there was any feedback for this season, that would be it. Of course, I am looking forward to see other elite weapons as well. I made a concept video before about the different elite weapons I would love to see as well. So if you want to watch that as well, guys, please do. But I think the biggest thing to come out this season, I would say overall, that I think would be like landmark features that will actually stay in our brains for a while, is probably the two. I would probably say tied first is the amped abilities, because that revolutionizes the whole late game thing. We no longer have red helmets now in the care pack. That's no longer a thing. So you open a care pack specifically for the weapon now. You no longer get that red helmet because it's no longer in the game. You open them for the amp abilities, and same for the supply. The loot bins, that's what I'm trying to think of. Same for the loot bins when they refresh as well. You open them to try and get some of these amp abilities. And so it really changes that whole late game in every single game. Same with the hop-ups as well. That also changes the late game for more the mid game, really. It changes the mid game for every single game that you play. They're completely revolutionizing this. As with previous seasons, they've revolutionized the class system. They've revolutionized the Evo system. Now they've revolutionized the technically the helmet system, but now we have additional abilities, the amps that they've added, and they've revolutionized the weapon progression system. They've added weapon progression now as well. So a lot of really good, I would say, lasting changes that we're going to really look back on, and we're going to say, thank God they added this. And I might be a bit biased because these are things that I have been saying for a while that needs to come to the game. But I truly do believe that we needed these things. We really do. Because it makes the game simpler to understand, it makes the game more fun, and it increases the skill ceiling for the pro players. It literally makes it better for everyone, even the developers as well, because it allows them to have easier ways to buff and nerf weapons based on the hop-ups as well, because it's now in a progression system. So, yeah, honestly, I couldn't actually be more happy with this season. So far, just early kind of thoughts. It's not going to be one of my favourite seasons in a while because, once again, back to back, we've had the 𝗏𝗁𝗁𝗃 return. I know technically it's not a new weapon, but it's been the care back for so fucking long, it literally feels like a new weapon. And then obviously the 𝗦𝘂𝗶𝗏𝗁𝗃 getting its new elite kind of thing, which I think is brilliant. I obviously didn't come up with the elite feature in my concept. I didn't come up with that. I just came up with the 𝗦𝘂𝗶𝗏 energy burst weapon concept, but like similar to the Rift E9 from BO3. I didn't come up with the elite system, but the elite system is brilliant. Whoever came up with that, the dev team needs to get a raise, honestly, because that is really good. Because it essentially allows them to do really massive changes to weapons, hopefully every season, without adding a new weapon. And I think they've realised that weapons are the things that really make people excited. Like, we got Sparrow last season, I feel like everyone just forgot about him, you know? Because at the end of the day, you get to choose what character you want to play. You know, I know as well you get to choose what weapons you want to play as well, but you do come across certain weapons as you're looting at the start of the game, and so you sometimes are forced to use some weapons. And so to have a fresh loot pool of weapons every season would be so good for the game, and I would love that. So for that reason that we have a new weapon 2 times in a row now, a new system that completely revolutionizes hop-ups and also these amp abilities as well, and also really good rank rewards, a new rank system as well, changing the points around, making it so it's more placement based. So it's definitely going to be good for the high level pro players who like to grind a little bit more. They're definitely going to feel like the rank system's a little more fairer now. Actually feel a little bit more on the side of the LGS. For casual players, probably going to enjoy it a little bit less, but at the end of the day, it's a rank system. It needs to be hard. But in summary, it's a really good season. And I'm not saying that because I'm an EA partner. I'm not being forced to say that. I'm just giving my honest opinion about the season, and it's a fucking good one. And it's quite surprising as well because I used to be sitting back and going, we need more weapons and stuff like this back in like season 15 when we used to get a character every single season. And it's like, we didn't get weapons for however long. And I was like, oh, the game's dead because we haven't got weapons. And yet we're at this point in the stage where like little things like an 𝗦𝘂𝗶𝗏 change and things like that are like revolutionary, but they actually are though. I do think the developers do know that they need to release more characters though, and I hope they do. I hope they do also release more weapons as well, and not just having to abide by this elite weapon system. That is the hope for the future. We still want legends and weapons, you know. It's just obviously going to be doing it less because the whole pool for legends and weapons is very saturated. Which makes sense. I get it. That's why I haven't got as much of that. But for a kind of season, technically being this season being a kind of break season, if we're going to go off the kind of precedent that next season might be a legend season, like a legend release season, if they're going to be doing more legend releases, that's what the developers have said. this could be technically a break season, and it could be one of the better seasons that we've had in a while. So this is a really good kind of roadmap for the road ahead right now for Apex, and that we've had a legend release last season, along with some really good changes as well, some really good meta switches every other week or something. It felt like it made it very, very fresh. I wonder what they have lined up for this season as well. But we have some really good changes at the start of this season. I'm assuming we're probably going to have like 3 weeks or something, maybe 4 weeks to get used to all the changes. Then they're probably going to drop another patch where it's like, here's some other characters that we want to try out and buff into the meta, try them out. And then like another 3 weeks after that, here's another two that we might want to try again. It makes it really fresh when they do that. And then before we know it, season 27 is around the corner, and then we're going to have a new character potentially. I hope so, because when they say, "Oh yeah, we know that we need to release more characters," I hope they actually know that and they're going to release more characters. Because that is at the end of the day, that and weapons are the two things that people really look forward to in Apex. Um, so yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. I don't know what I'm supposed to do for my weapon tier list. I don't know whether you guys would like me to kind of have an elite background or something on the 𝗬𝗓𝗏 to kind of show that it's an elite weapon and that it's only going to be temporary. I don't know. I don't know whether that's what you want us to do, or if I just should not do that. I don't know. But I am going to be doing my legend and weapon tier lists very, very shortly. Because I do have the early access, I know exactly what's been changed. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.